y'all, it's Moose here, and today I'm here with my friend Austin Ford. He graduated from UNT with a degree in jazz studies, and he was also in the 1 O'Clock Jazz Band, so we're going to do a little bit of a different video and talk about his experience in it. So Austin, you graduated from UNT with me, actually, class of 2021. So for people that are just now applying for the program, what would you say to them, and what would you recommend, and what's your advice for them?
For people who are currently in high school, or maybe they're in college trying to apply for a master's at UNT, I would say, this is pretty obvious, but practice as much as you can. Just get as ready as possible. UNT, while you don't have to be necessarily the best musician coming in, they will help you out. It does help to have somewhat of a foundation before you come. Yeah.
So what's the audition process like for you, or like what did you apply for any other schools or?
Yeah, so when I applied to UNT, I applied to 5 total schools, 3 of which were West Coast schools. I'm from Oregon, so I applied to local schools on the West Coast. 4 of which were West Coast schools, and then UNT. So compared to the other auditions, it was actually kind of similar. For me, I had to play both classical and jazz. I had to play like a classical etude and a jazz etude. Then I had to improvise over a tune that they selected for me.
Yeah.
And then they actually didn't make me sight read, but I think they normally do that.
Mm-hmm. So what made you choose UNT though?
When I applied, I got the best feeling from the professors. When I first was studying here, the professors were Mike Steinell, Rodney Booth, and Tanya Darby. And especially Tanya Darby, she was just incredible. But I love how the energy they gave off, and I just felt like it was the right place for me.
All right. So you auditioned, you got in, and then you became an RA. So we were RAs together too. So throwback to living at Rollins together.
Yeah.
But so like when you came in, how would you describe the environment for the jazz program, and also like how was the getting into the lab band process like? Because I know you got into the 1 O'Clock and it's like the top end. You got in as an undergrad too, but like what was the practices like and everything?
Yeah, so when I auditioned, I think the audition process is a little bit different now. But when I first auditioned, it was for trumpet, you had to play a 2-octave tongued C scale. And I remember I just folded on the first 2 years that I did it. It wasn't until the 3rd year, the year I made the 1 O'Clock bid, that I was able to actually do it. But it was the 2-octave tongued C scale, and then they saw how high you could play, so you just played a C, and then you went up chromatically until you could go any higher. And then the rest of the audition was sight reading.
Okay.
So you literally couldn't prepare for any of it.
Yeah.
So it was so hard because like in high school, I was part of a band that would play a very small amount of pieces, but like try to get as good as possible at them. Whereas at UNT, they just throw like a ton of music at you. And my sight reading was terrible when I first got here. So and then also they had you play over an F blues, and if you did good on that F blues, they would invite you to a callback round where you would read over a lead sheet and then improvise over that lead sheet.
Yeah. So that was your experience. So out of all the lab bands that you played in, and also can you explain to them what a lab band might be for those of you watching that might not know what it is?
Yeah.
What that is, and also like which one was the ones you were in, and also which ones you liked.
Yeah. So lab band is synonymous for big band, jazz band, if you will. It's essentially a place for students to learn how to play big band music under the direction of, if you're in the top 3, it's a professor, and then if you're in the lower, I think it goes to 7 o'clock now. When I first started, there was a 9 o'clock. But when you're in the lower 4, it's a grad student who's your director. And it's just a great place to learn how to read and play with others in the band. And yeah, so my experience in the lab bands, I started off in the 3 o'clock. I think I was able to get it because I was kind of comfortable improvising, and that helped me with that audition process. Because like I did not have the trumpet technique necessary. Like everybody else in that band could like play trumpet way better than I could at the time. So I was in the 3 o'clock under the direction of Tanya Darby, and that was one of the best bands I've been in. Like Tanya was like so amazing. She brought like the most awesome energy to the group, and I remember like when we were in it, the 3 o'clock and the 2 o'clock played a gig at the same time.
Yeah.
And like, no disrespect to the 2 o'clock, but like, I think a lot of people wanted to see the 3 o'clock more than the 2 o'clock just because of like how swinging we were.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is true or not, but like I feel like that was something that my friends at the time were talking about.
Yeah.
Because like the sax section, the whole band back then was like so awesome.
Yeah. So for you, it's always been a positive experience. What has the community in Denton and also like the jazz community been like for you in Denton though?
Outside of the school?
At UNT and outside.
So honestly, like when I came here, I thought it was going to be the most cutthroat, competitive scene, and
Be like Whiplash.
Yeah, I literally thought it was going to be Whiplash, and to my surprise, but also to my relief, everybody was so nice, and everybody just wanted to play. Everybody wanted to get better. It was a very, very welcoming environment, and it's like that in the greater Denton jazz scene as well. Like if you're a dick and you're super competitive, no one's gonna want to play with you.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of knows that, and even if they might not be on the best of terms with you, they're still gonna be nice to you.
Yeah. So like even if it's someone that's a freshman coming in, they always have a way to find community within the scene.
Yep. I remember when we first got to UNT, right off the bat, I think it was during first flight week, which is like kind of like an extended orientation for the freshmen. When we were doing first flight week, I had I remember I hit up a bass player that I had just met, and we started playing in the Bruce Hall lobby, and then more people just started joining, and then it became like a session.
Yeah. So you talk about Bruce. Bruce is the hall where typically all the musicians stay, right? And you didn't stay at Bruce. So would you say if you're living on campus at UNT, Bruce is the hall for musicians, or do you think it just matters? It doesn't matter. You can be anywhere and still have a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Maple Hall. The good thing about UNT is like the halls where the stuff is happening. It's just a short walk away. So I mean, I was at Bruce Hall more than I was at Maple because that's where most of the music majors live. But you know, I think it doesn't matter that much.
Okay.
If you're at Victory, it's like kind of far. But if you're at any other hall, I think it's fine.
Hey, Victory was where I lived my freshman year, and by far one of the best halls, personally, and also they had the best cafeteria. So
they had a good cafeteria.
I can't say anything about it. The burgers,
Mean Greens is still better, in my opinion.
It's because you like that vegan stuff.
Hey, bro. You know I got them allergies.
You just don't have allergies. But going off of that too, when you're going through and practicing and everything, what advice do you have for freshmen coming in and like just being at UNT for a jazz program? Would you recommend it? What do you have to say to them?
First of all, when you're auditioning for UNT, don't ever feel like UNT is out of your league. If you're, and this goes for any school. If you're thinking of applying to any school, I would say you'd be surprised by how many people these schools take. So I would just say, if you want to audition for a school or a certain school inspires you, or a certain teacher or whoever, shoot your shot.
All right. So,
and then when you're preparing to go to UNT, practice your butt off. Like the first audition, it's kind of where you make the first impression, you know. So I would say like the better you sound in that first audition, the better. I mean, no pressure, you know, but it is kind of how it is.
So how often and how much frequency do you think you were practicing before you auditioned, during the program, after you graduated? How much, is there a way of quantifying it, or is it just like the grind?
When I was like this in high school, I was practicing a good amount my senior year. I was also playing. I'm from Portland. They had jam sessions in Portland that I would go to, and those helped me grow a lot as a trumpet player, and I think they helped give me an improvisational background and like playing with people that isn't always accessible to people.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm hearing is that improv aspect is really important.
If there's like local jam sessions or stuff going on in your area, definitely go to those, because like it's like generally like you don't want UNT to be your first place where you're improvising if you're getting a jazz degree.
Okay, I hear you.
So
We're both graduated. You
Yeah.
graduated with me class of 2021. You just did your whole gap year. What's the plans for the future?
well, I am going to get a master's degree at Manhattan School of Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you excited about that? What was that feeling for you? Or
I mean,
how are you feeling about leaving Denton?
well, it's bittersweet, you know. I have a lot of awesome friends here, but like, you know, I'm super, yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited to go though. Like it's the place that inspires me the most.
Do you feel like you're prepared?
As ready as I can be.
Hell yeah.
I'm just trying to save up as much money and practice as much as possible, play as much as possible before I go.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you answering some of these questions
Yeah.
for me. Do you have anything to say or shout out to your own social media or YouTube or anything like that? You can say it to the camera right now.
Sure. If you want to find me on socials, look up Austin Ford Music. I'm on most of them. Yeah. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, y'all. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. And I hope y'all have a good day.
Peace.